Welcome
There you go.
everybody to the second episode of Have No Sphere. We're all just gathered here. We have Flat Earth Head, we have Armor and Hacksaw, and Mike. Your name's on there, so I'm just gonna have to call you Mike because your name's right there. So
Just
it's
call me
not gonna be
Mike.
much
That's
bigger.
fine.
And
That's
I'm
better than what
Josh.
my
We're here.
wife calls
That's right. We're here just talking about some symbology. I ran across a post on Facebook today regarding Oreo cookies and their relation that they might have to flat Earth symbology. So that just kind of is what prompted this little hangout here. So we're all just here kind of BSing and talking symbology for the evening.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah,
Indeed.
kind of took that from this morning and it kind of stuck in my head. I'm Armor, by the way. And it got me thinking, Illuminati symbols hidden in plain sight, right? Because that's what they love to do, right? Only the Illuminati insiders of the highest order were privy to the true meanings of the secret Illuminati symbols appearing in plain sight, secret places, popular culture, media, even architectural designs of important buildings, monuments, And members of the Illuminati have become integral, I'd say, in today's governments, economies, communications, entertainment industries, Knowledge of the symbols will actually help the people and some of the sheep that have even no idea that they exist, to understand the perversions of it and how to recognize them for what they are. So in preparation, I put together a list, of some of the top ones that I feel need to be addressed. And I just wanted to say before I start that symbols and propaganda only work when an individual does not consciously recognize them. In other words, the symbols have the most power when the true messages are hidden, thus working on an individual's subconscious level by triggering an emotional response. So once we take that away and recognize the true meaning of a symbol or message, we can then filter out the unintended effects, making it obsolete, basically. So
That's
I'm going to
so well
read them.
put.
Yeah, I'm
Well
just going to
well
read them quickly, and then you guys can all ask or whatever. So the first one is the pyramid. Second one is the all-seeing eye. Third one is the pentagram. Fourth one is the inverted cross. Fifth one is the number of the beast. And sixth one is the obelisk. Seventh one is the owl. Eighth one is the eternal flame, which is, Statue of Liberty. And then the last one is the devil's horn, which is the horn sign. And the 10th one is the Nazi salute, which is the Bellamy salute. So I kind of framed it for you guys, and now let's get into what you guys think about it, or anything else.
It's interesting that we talk about hidden symbology, and this doesn't have to do necessarily with the Illuminati, but the amazing thing that I find is, even when we go back to Anunnaki tradition, the symbol of DNA manipulation is right in front of our faces, and most people don't even know what the hell it means. It's amazing. So that's what I have to say on the issue. And wasn't the eye, the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, I thought that had to do with the sun, the triangular, the triangle of the sun. Was it not, or am I mistaken?
Well, in Masonic imagery, that's usually what that all-seeing eye represents, is the all-seeing eye of God peeking in through the dome, because a lot of their symbology does show the flat Earth symbology with the dome over it and the flat horizon and the two pillars supporting the constellations on the right and the ball Earth on the left.
But the pillars of J and B are for the corruption of the DNA.
Right.
That's what it stands for, their hybrid gene that they're going to create.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think symbology is very, very suggestive. Absolutely. That's all I have to say on the issue. Absolutely.
Well, it's interesting what you said about recognizing the symbol makes its power less. I keep trying to explain that to my fiance when show her these things, these symbols, and her attitude is, well, everything you look at is some kind of evil thing now. And it's like, well, I mean, the symbols have an origin, and they were there for a reason, and they've been there for thousands of years. Now, they've been turned into these popular images that are on shirts and posters and games, and all the kids are tattooing them. And, I mean, yeah, it's gotten popular, but that's kind of the point. They made it popular. They made it something that everybody craves and wants, and
Yes,
it's
they
a
did.
symbol, and, oh, I have this shirt, so I'm cool, or this Pokemon Go game that everybody's losing their minds over. It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we were recording earlier, but yeah, the creator of that game made the reverse of everything. So it's quite interesting.
Wait a minute. So, did I hear somebody say that the Pokemon Go app was more about satanic rule than anything else? Did I hear that?
Yeah, so basically, the creator of the game is a Japanese guy, right? Really famous in Japan. So he did an article about why he created the game. And essentially, he created it. His parents were very heavy Christians and really, quite outspoken ones, evangelical, So he hated it. It was not his thing. He didn't believe in God. He wanted to rebel. So he basically created this Pokemon game to rebel against Christianity. So he made all of it opposite Christianity and used demons as Pokemons. So, in his own words, he says, yes, you can basically call this game more satanic and more for the hardcore Satanists than anybody else. As I made this game as a rebellion against my parents who are too Christian. Interesting, hey?
I believe it.
Yeah.
Well, that's just mind blowing. I had not heard that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to think about all the video games all the way going back to, well, it's all of
Josh,
it.
if you can search it on the thing there and just bring it up, you could read exactly what it was, and we could talk about it if you wanted.
But the way this works into I always call it like symbology or something. But it's like the books too, like Harry Potter, with the video games and the music. The symbols, there's really only two purposes in our culture. I guess what we're talking about, like the big great deception, right? Is
Right.
well, the first one is like the brainwashing aspect to it, which is like desensitization to it, so they can slip in the stuff behind it, and they're only really slipping in behind it, like either real witchcraft or like what they consider true worship, because the symbol really does mean something. Because the symbols are all based upon like the actual design structure of our reality, more or less.
Yes, sir. The flowers of life, the tree of life,
right.
the seed of life.
Amen.
All of it.
Yeah. So that's how he's flipping it around, and then the blacker the little bitsy bits of magic is mostly to empower the deception.
Yep.
Just to keep people asleep.
Yep.
There you go. And so the rest of it's like almost boasting, like putting the rest of the symbology on top of it through culture from people really doing it is just boasting. It's actual straight hardcore worship in every sense of the word. If you were to like do that same thing for Jesus, you would be doing exactly worship for Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And they're
they
fully
love
deceived.
to rub it in our face. They love to mock us and rub it in our face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they've got us so fooled and tricked, they can do that and just laugh away.
Yeah.
What I find so interesting about it is that each symbol has like, if it's something simple on a lower level, it has no less than 3 meanings, like the owl.
Right.
Yeah, the owl means something to us. We look at it and we're like, oh, look at that owl. And then they look at it and they look at it, depending on the rank, as something other. And then depending on the rank, something major. So it's just interesting to me that it's so heavily coded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to the uninitiated, the owl represents the powerful pagan lord, right? The one from Bohemian Grove that they call
Moloch.
Moloch,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So And, the next one, the eternal flame. The thing I find with all of these Illuminati things, they all point to our good friend the devil if you really look hard enough.
Whoa, yeah. Can
Yeah.
you do me a favor, sorry, and read them just real quick again at some point, whether that's now or...
Okay, what, the 8
The
things I came up
12,
with?
was it 8 or 12?
It was 8. So it was the pyramid, right? The
Mhm.
all-seeing eye of Horus, so you see them covering the eye, or the left eye that was taken out. The pentagram, which now they're claiming is used to symbolize triumph of matter over spirit, but I don't believe that. I have always known that it was originally used as protection against them, to control them and summon them there. The inverted cross, known as St. Peter's cross.
Mhm.
And it was he was martyred by crucifixion when he
Mhm.
was said to have requested it, actually, to be crucified that way, because he didn't feel honored to do it the other way. And then the number of the beast, 666, you see that in all their stuff. We know what that means. And then the obelisk, the owl, the eternal flame, the devil's horn, which is just the fingers. Everyone does that. They do that just as much as they do the eye covering picture, all the celebrities. And then the last one is Hitler's salute.
Yes.
This has really been a lot of fun.
I appreciate that. I was very much appreciate the invite. I definitely have at least 4.
Doesn't have any explanation, really. But yeah, it was just a salute.
What is the thing behind the owl? Quickly.
Well, other than Moloch, it's had a lot of symbology throughout. I mean, through historical records, the Indian, Native American, Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Chitimacha, they all thought it was a symbol of death when an owl appeared.
There's also a runoff secret society that uses it as the mascot. I want to say it's the motto that has swords of prickly spiders, beware, or webbed. I can't think of it right now.
Hold on. Yeah. Weaving spiders.
Weaving spiders come not here, or weave not here, or something like that.
Weaving spiders, weave not here, I think.
Yeah, it's associated with that stuff.
Supposedly it's hidden on the dollar bill, but I think that's just a pattern that got repeated.
It's definitely an owl.
No, I've seen it. It's an owl.
Definitely an owl.
Yeah, 100%.
And then there's, of course, the Greys always tended to use that as a cover memory in the abduction scenarios that I studied quite a bit in my younger years.
They got caught staring at an owl.
Yeah, really? You'd like have a memory of an owl flying in your room, or an owl in the window, owl, and that would be the cover for the big eyes of the Greys.
Yeah, what was that movie with there was always a string, there was a mechanical owl.
Wait.
The fifth dimension? No, the fifth taking? No. What was it?
With the mechanical owl? Wait.
There's mechanical owls all over Hollywood.
Yeah, there was Clash of the Titans. There was.
Yeah.
What was the other one, man?
Was there one in Beastmaster?
I think there might have been.
Maybe so. Yeah, they're around. They're definitely there in our face.
So that one, out of all those, is always the one that's just got me a little bit. Like, what is that?
I think it's also a big ego thing for them, the owl being the most wise, right? Like, and it also comes from their goddess Minerva, the goddess of wisdom,
Right.
And I also think it's a symbol of their power, They use it in important sections of Washington, D.C., actually. And the most important parts are laid out in a phase to shape a form of the owl. So they actually use it in their city construction. It must be very important.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, I'm going to send you something. I think you guys are going to like this. It's loading up right now. Give me 1 second. You guys tell me what you think this looks like. It's coming to you now, Josh. All right, here we go. It's coming now. Sorry, my computer's a little slow.
So on those first two, with the pyramid and the all-seeing eye, shall we just knock those together for the symbol on the dollar bill, the truncated pyramid with the all-seeing eye
Not
above,
always.
or shall we keep them? No, I'm just thinking for this one here. I mean, we can go all day long
I mean,
about
the
people
interesting
covering
thing,
their
I
right
wanted to
eye.
say the last thing on the pyramid, the numbers add up. The Roman numbers add up to the year that the Illuminati was funded or created.
Okay, Josh, you got it.
1776.
Yep.
See, I've always wondered that too. What in the world a cross in the middle of the desert had to do with our nation's founding in 1776? And why is it a three-dimensional cross with a two-dimensional eye above it? How come there's two different dimensions represented on that one symbol?
Isn't
The
that
2D and the 3D. Yeah, I just thought that
Right.
was really strange.
What do you mean? What do you mean cross? The pyramid on the dollar? I'm so lost.
Yeah, well, the pyramid on the dollar is having the two different dimensions. Oh, we're talking about this cross here, the Coptic cross of Gaia, the sound of Gaia.
That's where your religious cross comes from, right there. The sound of Gaia.
what?
That right there is where religion got its cross symbology from. That's the owl on visualized. That's where your Coptic cross comes from.
Interesting.
Hmm.
It's the sound of, as Tellinger talks about, the sound of Gaia.
Cymatics.
Yeah, exactly. You know how Tesla says that the Earth rings like a bell. There's your symbology. There's your cross.
Yeah.
In the beginning was the Word.
Amen, brother.
And the word was with God.
Mm-hmm.
See, the word, you know what I'm saying? Like, that right there, that, what do you call that? Geometry?
The
The
I
image.
know what you mean.
Yeah.
Cymatics,
It's
vibrational.
cymatics.
So that, yeah. Like, dude, that is a whole nother topic.
That's a whole other show. Well, hey, we could do that as well.
Well,
Yeah,
no, I
no,
just thought
that'll be the
symbology
second hour.
crosses.
I thought
No,
we were
no,
gonna
I
get
just-
stuck on trying to separate the difference between the symbol of the pyramid and the pyramid. We were talking about the pyramid for a second there. We kind of got lost on it. But
Yeah,
the
that's what I
symbol
thought
of the
we were-
pyramid's totally different than the pyramid.
Right.
And then you have the all-seeing eye, which is kind of
Yeah,
different
it's Lucifer.
Right. And they're
Right.
combined in a different way. And yeah, there's lots of layers to it. Always.
Because the pyramid gets really, used more than anything else.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some secrets hidden in that pyramid. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
But I sum up the rest of the Giza pyramids with, the sphere deception of space is as old as the Giza pyramids, because the dimensions of heliocentrism are, worked into the stones, how they're designed, right, and laid.
That's what I've heard.
I've heard that, but I've also heard that if you take a circle, 360, and do the math like they always do with the ball math, it always works out that way. Same kind of deal with if you start from spherical geometry to prove your ball, then you've started out saying it's a ball. You can't use that. And that's kind of what that has all been based on. Because I was a big pyramidologist, as it were, I guess, in the 80s as well. And
Oh, yeah.
a lot of those measurements work out as long as you start with that understanding that the 360 degrees and that they used a wheel to make the measurements, so it all works out.
I think the more fantastic thing is they took these imaginary numbers of the globe and worked them into a monument from which to be reverse engineered to prove a deception of the
Exactly. So
And
much
if you
layer
ask
of
me-
deception.
When you ask me how old the deception is, it's older than anything we talk about, anyone you're talking to about. So
Well,
that whole
I hate
thing
to even
gets
go off
swiped
on
to
that
the
topic.
side,
On the age of the pyramids, I mean, do you guys...
The pyramid's completely used for so much stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I'm just wondering what you think on the age of the pyramids. Just what's your idea, just generally.
I'm sure it's much older than the pharaohs. I'm sure it wasn't a tomb the way the Egyptologists would have it.
Hey, Josh, I just sent you an image of what the pyramids are doing. I just sent you an image of it. I'm one step ahead of you. Take a look. There are famous pictures of what these things, what the pyramids are actually doing. There's a whole bunch of pictures out there.
Yeah, I've seen these with the vortex at the top.
They're generating energy. Immense amounts of it, by the way. They've said that they've been everything from tombs to food silos. They're generating energy.
Have you seen the video of the people inside doing the chanting against the wall, and it reverberates all throughout the pyramid and turns it into this big, like, tuning fork sounding thing?
I have heard those guys. They apparently go through there yelling to create
and if you lay down in that sarcophagi or
frequency,
that box, it's like
I looked into it. It looks like shit, like a hoax, honestly.
Really?
Some gibberish, yeah.
I don't know. The guy that laid in that box seemed pretty impressed with what happened while he was in it.
Remember that this goes way back, and the pyramids are using light and sound to generate energy, which is why it's interesting that you say that this guy was singing inside of the pyramid, and it was generating energy, because this has been done before.
Let me find the video.
No, he was generating a specific frequency.
Frequency, yep.
Right, exactly.
Let me find it.
But Walt, I don't think it was going anywhere with it. I could have been wrong. If I'm wrong, hey, whoop-de-doo, and I'll admit it, but I don't think it was.
So what about this relationship to the pyramid in Giza and Tesla's tower? And the fact that basically Tesla's tower is just a rebuilding, his own representation of what it is that the pyramid in Giza does. If you look at the water table below and the way that the shafts are in, the way it's just kind of generating this natural electricity and then transmitting it same way that tower did, I've heard it. That's basically all it is just a huge energy transmitter. And that Tesla rebuilt the same thing.
I'm sending you a schematic right now. Hold on a minute. I'll send you one. Hold on.
The pyramid seems to me, you'd have to think it is pre-flood. Like it's designed like it would survive a flood.
Way, way before the floods, my man. You're talking about another 220,000 years.
No.
Where the hell is this?
No.
If it was before the flood, it would have been like, well, Noah was building the ark. They were building this kind of thing to preserve something. And I think that there's this, almost an immediate second incursion of, the Nephilim or whatnot. Yeah. And it's not the fallen. It's, some other sort of incursion. This is the Egyptians' head. They're all funny looking and all sorts of stuff on there. And I think it came probably from something like the pyramid that was built as a doorway that could last a flood for knowledge or some sort of download or some sort of that in the movie 300, the guy goes into a pool and comes out like a giant. Well, what if some sort of Gandalf sorcery, black magic, black Enochian thing.
Enochian, yeah, exactly. Pretty much Enochian, Solomonic.
Because, the spirits, they didn't die. They still know the same stuff they do. And after a couple generations of man, the guy goes wayward. He starts whispering to him this level of secrets. And he uses those secrets to gain power. And, he gets all that stuff. And then the way we see it is that all the empires of man were basically because of an incursion of knowledge or a certain sort of secrets that were being fed in that era.
I'm going to send you an Ormus image, guys, as well. 1 second.
Just sent a little picture I had found when I was doing some research on the age of the pyramids, trying to determine if they were as old as everybody is saying. Because when I saw Jaron's video on the age of Stonehenge being in some doubt, it made me wonder about the pyramid. So I started looking for some of the earliest drawings and recorded evidence of the pyramid. And the first one I found is the one I just sent. And you can see the shape is totally different, and the Sphinx is in a different location, and obviously is a female figure, not what it looks like now. Now, these were guys who were exploring the world and trying to record what they actually saw and found as they explored. I don't think they'd have drawn it that way if it didn't actually look that way when they found it. And then about 100 years later, this drawing that I'm about to send was put up as representing the pyramids and the Sphinx. Wow, that's an awesome picture, Mike.
Thank you, sir. It looks a lot like the medical symbol as well, the same
Yes, it does.
helix. That may be something right there. I don't know.
Right, part of the caduceus symbol.
Yeah, two snakes entwined.
So my question is, what if all of the history that we know we've uncovered being a lie, what if it goes further back? What if all of the deception is greater and farther back and has been put in place, before we even could imagine it? And what if these ages of these monuments are definitely not as old as we think? Just throwing some interesting ideas out there. I'm still not sure about all of that myself.
Well, that Stonehenge is for sure. That is such a hoax.
Yeah, I thought so after I looked at all that myself. You don't do a reconstruction of a monument that's aligning stars and equinoxes and sun tracking to by completely tearing it completely down and digging up new stones and putting them in. It's just pretty ludicrous when you look at the photographs of what they're doing. It doesn't look like a restoration at all. It looks like a construction site.
But the story, and like pyramids where they were doing the sacrifices with the blood pouring down the step pyramids to make these, pools of blood. And they would have it so, the blood would just be making waves, like snake waves, and the shadows would hit at a certain time.
Yeah.
Whatever is going on with these pyramids, and then, the pyramids got something we all talk about, whatever the power is, right? Was it a Tesla tower? Like we've seen how you can sharpen razor blades by keeping them in a pyramid on your countertop.
Yep.
You can do the whole free energy thing. We just have completely untapped every aspect.
I made yogurt in a pyramid when I was a teenager.
These things, like the pyramid itself as a symbol, represents to us, as born into like the deceived world, as enslaved people, because of all the power that it symbolizes, including the free energy, including all these mysteries, including how it's everything about it just screams like figure me out, and we just sit back on this thing that it's like, oh, we don't know who built it or when or how or whatever, but it's there and it's just in the middle of the desert and we basically ignore it. It's nuts.
Wow. That's so true.
There you are, Josh. I don't know if you guys have seen this picture.
And second, with Tesla, I mean, there's something with that guy, because he himself, confirmed the Earth could be used as a conductor, eh? Like he had it all kind of worked out with his little suspicions regarding the conductivity of the ionosphere or whatever. Yeah. No wonder they tried to.
Yeah, if I were to take a level of interest in something next, it would be the ley lines on the flat Earth. They made, like, we just saw this recently. Somebody's putting it up. They make the flower, the flower. I think it's the seed of life. See, I think if we were to be like, all right, we're gonna make Tesla towers all over the world, that would be your map.
Absolutely.
So I would be personally interested in like going to some of those locations just to make sure there's not towers out there already.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. We are thinking in future about doing stuff like that once we get rolling, doing some sort of doing our own weather balloon, and maybe doing trips like that to verify things.
That's what I'm working on now.
Yeah.
Just to touch on the shape of the pyramid being perhaps like, we all know it does things, power, like an energy collector, conductor, pointer, whatever you want to call it. I think the shape of mountains also have that effect, because I live in South Louisiana and I'm right now visiting and doing things in Oregon with my family and taking care of my mom. I don't see many mountains in South Louisiana. So we go to visit the Overlook Hotel, which is Timberline Ridge here in Oregon, and we're going up Mount Hood. And as we go across, the energy is just incredible. And as we start descending the other side on the road in the car, my brother's like, wow, look at my arm. And he held it up, and the hair on his arm was standing straight up, but it was doing this little wave thing up and down his arm, like a wave in his hair. You could see it. And then it hit the rest of us. All our hair stood up. It was pretty crazy. It was like as we descended, we hit this energy level. It was pretty intense. And again, I think it had just something to do with the shape of the mountain itself.
So,
I have new headphones somewhere. I'm trying to look for them, so I'm going to
what
mute for a
about
minute while I
symbols,
dig.
though, man? It's for real. The indoctrination of children at young ages is 100% legit happening and has been happening for a long time. They shove that shit in our face fast and hard. And one thing we can always count on is consistency in school, on TV, and from the news. Fuck. If somebody actually wakes up sometimes, they'll just be like, snap out of their phase, and they look around and they go, wow, the TV is all fake, the news is all fake, everything I read is fake. Wow. And it'll blow your mind. They have literally started so young.
Yes,
Well, that's the
unfortunately.
design. That's the design. That's the imprinting while they're young. You got to mold that mind. That was John Taylor Gatto is this guy that's big into called unschooling, where basically he was like New York's teacher of the year for 2 or 3 years, and I think even the U.S. teacher of the year. And he says public schools are the worst things you could ever do to a kid. So he's all about homeschooling and getting kids, basically getting kids out there working, getting kids out there exploring and trying things that maybe they'll want to do when they're older and maybe not. But you get them out there and you just get them life experience when they're young. And those are the type of kids that are going to grow up to be the free thinkers and the leaders and the people that are well-rounded, because they're having these broad experiences at a very young age to mold their mind in that way, rather than these strict, regimented Pavlovian responses to bells, doing stupid things just to make sure that you'll do them when you're told. I mean, that's the whole point of school, is just to condition kids to be good workers.
Pretty soon, it works today. We're programmed to take and accept these horrible, fairly easy to debunk and expose false flag operations.
And just lies.
Just lies on top of lies.
It's like public school is just the preconditioning program to make sure that we will adapt to the Truman Show.
Yep. Yeah.
It's horrifying.
No, and they just think so little of us. That's the interesting part to me, is just the level of, they want to deny what is so wonderful about who made me, anyways, for me, because I'm pretty unique because of him, and they just don't even want to recognize anyone. They'd treat us so shit if they could. They'd treat us all like good little workers, good little energy bars for them.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
There's a hidden flat Earth map in the DuckTales cartoon. I put it up there.
I saw that.
Yeah. Dude, have you guys seen this movie, The Kingsman?
Yeah. It's great. The Secret Service. Or the blonde kid, yeah.
there's this part in that movie when she wheels out the McDonald's.
Hmm.
Can you guys hear me? I feel like you guys are cutting in and out.
No, you're
No,
great,
no, we
man.
can hear you.
And you just gave us the idea for next week's show. Next week's show is going to be on references to flat Earth in movies.
Boom.
Oh, okay,
Bunch
yeah.
of those.
So this is a perfect one. I just saw this the other night. She was wheeling in. You could probably dial it up so easily. She was wheeling like a big silver dome as like a meal cart, like, and she's in her character has fake legs, and so she's pink, walking this, pushing this thing like a skirt, and as she's coming into frame and they're giving her like the money shot with the dome in front of her. In the background, one of them is a globe of it's actually like a Saturn reincarnation, and then there's a cube on the counter, and then there's a big gyro right in the middle of the screen for like 4 seconds.
No way.
They're just telling us all the time.
Oh yeah, that's what I love about it. They just can't keep their mouths shut. They always give us warnings and little hints and clues, and they just think we're dull.
Yeah, but that's part of the symbols too. It's like kind of like wash all that stuff around in a big undetectable mess.
Mm-hmm.
So the all-seeing eye was probably best depicted by the movie Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's amazing. You watch that, and as a kid, you're like, what is that? Come on. And then all of a sudden, then they go, oh, there's an all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill. What's that? Like, supposed to be like Lord of the Rings? I mean, come on. And then that's kind of just what it is.
It is. That is exactly what it is. But they never tell you what it is. They sell you what it is.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, I think it's probably a big computer.
Well, you've looked into the Diablo computer as well.
Yeah, I think it's like the Batman when Mr. Fox gets the whole machine that can detect everything through cell phones. And he goes, dude, this is too much power for one man to have. And he goes, I gave you can destroy it when you're done. Your name is the password. Yeah, I think that they use the B system to pull that stuff through our phones and junk. With all the cameras, but also.
Well, that's why I cover mine with a piece of tape, man. Always.
Yeah.
I do.
I think that like if I have an iPhone, most of the software in that phone is basically masking the fact that it's a free energy machine.
Exactly what I've been thinking too, that they've dumbed down this system so much that if we could unleash what these phones could really do, we would have like the little devices that wore on their wrists and they live.
Because if you think about it,
out of reality.
Exactly how they work, where they would sell us this thing and make it so, dude, it's like a free energy machine. If you had a Tesla Tower, you could talk on the phone, totally free, it would do all this stuff. But like we sold you this and you signed up for it and this is what you got. Your fault. And then they could access them, like free energy machines. They could just turn them on. The phone could be off and underwater. Who knows?
Yeah.
How many times have you talked about something in your living room with someone about, hey, have you seen that new video or that new trailer or this new video about whatever idea, and you go to search it on YouTube and it's already waiting in your recommended videos.
Yep.
It's because they turn on that mic and they're listening for those key words and having it ready for you to buy.
They're ready. No, that's a new service. I can't remember who's launching it though, Walt. I think it's Chapters. No.
I heard Ray Kurzweil do a talk about this very technology. This was back when Siri was relatively new, and he was talking about how what Google is doing, because he was the head of the R&D, and what they were looking into was the next generation of what Siri does. So rather than picking up your phone and talking to your phone and asking your phone things, your phone is going to listen to your conversation like a third party. And anticipate your moves. So when you're talking about seeing a movie, once your phone catches the movement that you're picking it up, it will already have theaters and showtimes and stuff waiting for you. Because It's just sitting there listening to your conversation, interpreting what you're saying.
Wow.
And this was probably 7-8 years ago. Back before I got into Alex Jones, when I was still teething on Glenn Beck.
That's funny.
Oh, I never listened to those guys.
You never listened to those guys?
Nah.
Good. Avoid them at all costs.
I mean, I caught up after a while.
Indeed.
It was interesting, the things that after, like, I kind of came through and looked back. Glenn Beck was saying some really interesting things on TV.
Yeah, he was. He had some really good things about the imams and the 12th imam coming up out of the well, and what it was, this chaos and blood that the Muslims, this radical Islam, was trying to spread to coax this 12th imam out of the well to rule the world. Yeah, some really crazy stuff.
Dude, don't get me started on Islam. Some scary stuff.
Yeah. The control mechanisms in all of it, from Islam to Christianity to Judaism, it's the control mechanisms and the deep-rooted control they have in their followers, I think, is what's just terrifying.
And here we are talking about the symbols, and this is how they do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know,
That's
like, I go back to 1969. If you go back to 1962, what they did was they waited until the television was in every American household, and then they shocked America by shooting the president in the face on live TV. And then 7 years later, by the time a TV got in every household in the world, they just went up there and told the world they lived on the globe. In 1969, that night, like, you went to bed, it could be flat Earth. God could still exist. Next morning, you woke up, you live on a globe. Aliens are coming.
Exactly. And they also use all that trauma to, help with the whole MK Ultra program to induce mind control through traumatic experiences.
Dude, you want to know what I think MK Ultra was? It was like the first Saturday morning cartoons. It was stage 1 Pokemon. They were learning how to get into these screens.
Get us.
Yeah, why is the screen the pinnacle of all technology for absolutely no reason at all? It's because they got something. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's something.
Mm-hmm. And they patented that something and packaged that something and protected that something.
And sold it
Now,
to us, and everyone's put it in front of their face and just getting down.
Yeah.
They're getting programmed. They used to have to sell them on a TV program, get them from the TV, all that stuff. Now it's just they're like they can't even talk, and they're on the screen.
No, it's all on the screen, man.
So it's wicked. I mean, it is wicked, and it's we're past a lot of thresholds at this point. Whew.
Yeah, unfortunately we have.
Go ahead.
But the symbols, there's the ones that are the ones that they're just kind of pounding on people's heads, and it's kind of like keeping people poor in prison. And then there's the ones that are the ones that are really keeping people asleep, just to see if you can sort of pair the message you're hearing with certain of the symbols as they're coming at you. Because I know after a certain point there's only so many symbols. Well, that's true. There's only so many lies they're trying to pour down us. But it's the movie magic is not a joke. The Hollywood, a lot of the stuff that they call technology, they call magic. Before the flood was open game, open knowledge. Everybody knew there was a God and all that kind of stuff. And then now they use the fact that we don't know anything, and that's really their huge advantage is now that we're born into a globe, evolving biology organisms by chance, they kind of just it's kind of open game.
Absolutely. And God has been on attack ever since.
Oh, I mean, that was a pretty strong move they did right there. I mean, you talk about what's the whole point of flat Earth? Well, you know, the Quran's a flat Earth book too, and I don't know if you guys know about this, but I've always wondered why are they attacking the flat Earth? I get sort of to a degree this, but you know, and then you run into these things where you're watching. They will tell you the Earth is flat. Even they have plans in place to tell you the Earth is flat and to tell you it's flat for different reason. You know, but just the idea that you're on a globe, you don't
You
know
mean
which
they're
way.
going to release the information like as an official, like here we go, it's flat? Is that what you're trying to say?
They're already releasing it in circles that you and I don't travel in.
All right. Well, here's what I'm afraid is that the idea that they're going to be releasing is the whole Mark Sargent prison dome, prison planet floating in space idea that so many people are stuck on. And that's just the next level of keeping us trapped and away from our Creator, because that's what the ball did so efficiently. If you look up and everything's infinity, then where's God? And now if you look up and there's a dome separating us from whatever's out there,
they'll
it's
go
still
as
another
far
prison.
to tell you that they've cracked the dome to fit planet Nibiru into it. Whatever they can do to make something come in from the outside. Because that's the end game for what comes next.
Right. But
Project Bluebeam.
they're such a crock of shit because they have not done it.
There's no,
it's just
yeah,
going
there's
to be
nothing.
more smoke and mirrors. More smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, you got to. It is. It's going to be real smart, though.
It's going to be a clever show, man. This is going to be.
It's going to be.
Oh, it'll be flawless.
It's going to be smart enough.
Oh yeah, it'll trick everyone.
I mean, this rope that we're holding right now is going to start slipping out of our hands faster and faster and faster.
You know it, but we got to be prepared.
And the harder you hold on, the more it's going to burn as it goes through.
Right.
Let that shit go.
Well, there's just going to be no catching up.
Nope. It's time to grab a new rope. Let go of the old one. Just going to get rope burns.
Josh, what do you think about symbolism? What does tonight mean? Because I just found out, and I wanted to share a fact with you. Did you know that the Statue of Liberty was actually a pagan goddess, Semiramis, the whore of Babylon? That's who it is. The whore of Babylon is in America. It's the Statue of Liberty.
I thought she was Apollonia all this time.
No.
See, that's what I thought too.
No.
I mean, I knew she was a hidden goddess right in our face, but I thought it was Apollonia. I had not heard this. Go ahead, please.
And do you know what she represents? Semiramis represents the destruction of the old world order and the creation of the new world order. And what did she see? What did she witness in 2001, September 11th?
Yes, sir.
That's a good question. Something. Did she see planes?
Only
she
she did
not see planes. I'll tell you that
much.
I don't know what she saw. She did not see planes.
That was Project Bluebeam's first successful show.
Oh, I doubt it was his first successful show.
No, I think we had a few shuttle flights that were pretty successful.
For sure. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Did you guys see that Norway spiral? What do you think? Was that Project Bluebeam, or do you think that was some weird spiral shit in the sky?
I've definitely seen it. I know that the way the weathermen and NASA explain it is absolute horseshit. So I can tell you that much. But
I don't know. For a while, I was kind of looking at the whole CERN thing, but I'm not even sure about that anymore. I mean, what do you guys think on that? Is that part of that? That they opened something? They're working on opening something?
Absolutely, dude. I do feel they're up to something awful there. And, I mean, they're trying to create something, and they're going to end up creating more antimatter. Or they're trying to allow it more antimatter, even though it's so unstable. they're trying to, work with it, and they're going to end up releasing a whole shitload of bad things.
So you guys saw that dance of Shiva they did in CERN while the employees were dancing around
No,
inside.
yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
weird.
Have you
Yeah.
guys seen the ones they were doing outside with the guys on the ropes hanging on the wall?
I think
Wait,
so.
that was the Swiss tunnel, I think, wasn't it? I
Ah,
was just about to ask, had y'all seen the ceremony for the opening of the Swiss tunnel? I think
I saw
that was the
that
thing
too.
with the ropes, yeah.
see, I
Which was
thought
a
that
tunnel
was.
into the depths of the earth, and they're doing all this bizarre paganistic dancing and angels flying and descending, and it was pretty insane. That one creeped me out way more than the one at CERN did.
Well, there's something else. You know that town in Switzerland where it's located?
Uh-huh.
If you look up the name of the town, the meaning of the name of the town
There's
is
a
basic.
Polyon.
Yeah, is basically the devil.
Awesome. There you go. Make
So they
perfect
built
Which
sense with that ritual.
if Apollyon or whatever is also the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and which stands for destruction.
The
And
two
it's
things.
always the same being represented so many different ways. And I mean, different faces for the same crap all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. It's mostly used for deception. There's truly nothing new under the sun. But they have everybody's like pinned. They have them pinned in a certain understanding, and they have to keep them there. And they're like the way that we roll out technology. What scares me is what they don't have. I think they're at least 400 years ahead of us. What they don't show us. But the way they roll out technology to us is if, like bit by bit, bit by bit. And we think it's just like, we think we're just running on the cutting edge. That's,
right.
That whole thing is a big old scam.
So
Right. I was playing with this little drone my brother has. It's about the size of a quarter, and I'm sitting there flying it around the living room thinking, wow, if I can do this, imagine what these little mosquito-sized ones they're flying around the house with are.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they're a free energy machine.
Exactly.
I mean, people are like, what's up there taking pictures on it? Like a drone that never has to come down. How about that?
Exactly. I wonder how they got all those aerial photography shots for Google Earth.
Solar-powered aircraft.
Free energy aircraft.
Yep, that's what's going
I mean,
on.
remember that thing in Avengers where they had the big flying, whatever you call it?
Yeah, their fortress or whatever.
Yeah. That's what they got, man. There's a big old free energy fortress flying up there.
Well, I got one more symbol I'm going to leave you guys with because I think it's fitting because it sparks a whole nother argument. But yeah, if Josh, you can look up Alfa Romeo, reptile eating a human.
Whoa, like the car?
Yeah, just pop
Wait,
up the
what?
logo. Alfa Romeo, reptile eating a human image.
As in like the. I guess we'll pull it up on it.
It should be, so it's like the actual car ornament, and it's split in half and it has a white cross, and then it has a green snake on it. Kind of like goes along with like other logos of this theme, like Quetzalcoatl, the Ouroboros, and the Ouroboros Firefox. Or in the Rod of Aspheus on the AMA Association logo. Yep, there it is. So they're saying that is.
Oh yeah, it's a dude. That's
See?
a dude in his mouth.
Yep.
Wow, that is great.
Yep.
That is just too much.
And I gotta have the big red cross on the other side.
Yeah, man.
Too much.
Yeah. What? Anyways, guys, that was a great show for me. I gotta ditch out.
Well, James, thank
All
you
right,
so
Armor,
much.
thanks for
Take
coming
care,
in.
buddy. Take care, friend.
All right.
Thanks, Armor.
Thank you.
That is mind-blowing. I still can't believe that picture with the guy in his mouth.
Right, it might as well say the Rothschilds are.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic for another show as well, I believe. We'll be here another 5 hours on that one.
So yeah, you were right. It was definitely the tunnel opening. I guess that's what I get for not sitting down to watch these videos. And that was just a couple clips from the last couple minutes of it.
Yeah, it's
This
pretty
whole
crazy.
thing has got to be completely insane. Yeah, let's start off with some chemtrails. Thanks.
Oh yeah. I don't even want to watch.
And was this symbolic of all the people they killed in building this tunnel?
Good Lord.
I mean, wow.
God damn, is that weird.
Well, you know, it's not even that it's that weird. It's that it's how does this is these sorts of things happening. It's
Every
like
award show, every football
yeah,
halftime, everything. It's a ritual every time, and everybody just eats it up.
and then every time you see a ritual that's like this, there's a sex ritual that's accompanying it. Maybe it's those people, maybe it's behind the scenes, maybe it's before, maybe it's after. But then there's another one going on underground somewhere else where they're really doing other stuff. You know?
Unfortunately, yes.
And that is part of it, is they're like getting people to co-opt into a ceremony that they don't really know they're co-opting into simultaneously. They do all sorts of nutty stuff like that.
Yes, sir. We have lots of topics you've uncovered for us tonight. Hack, I'm definitely glad you've joined the little talk tonight. It's been quite enlightening and definitely too much to go into on one show. We definitely have many things.
Yeah, it's good that we have like symbols in front of us to keep us on task.
Yeah, symbols. Look at these things. My goodness.
I went through a huge symbol phase. There's so much to it.
Oh, look at this guy. Yeah. There's the portal. The eye.
I mean, look at that.
Look at it. It's insanity.
You'd have to really believe that you live in a totally non-spiritual world to watch something like this, or even to participate in it, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm sure most of those people are quite aware of what they're doing, and they're putting as much energy into it as they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not like super talented dancers doing
No.
choreographed shows.
Yeah, Bob Fosse did not choreograph this. Oh my goodness, what in the world? I haven't watched this much of it myself. This is insanity.
This is what it is. It's insanity.
I mean, it's mad.
I mean,
no, but this is not.
disjointed.
It's not meaningless, my friend.
No, it's not.
No,
it's just insanity
that's
that they're just doing it in everybody's face. This blatant.
Yeah. They're conjuring up some real stuff.
Oh yeah. For the pit, for the tunnel into the pit.
There's so much symbology here that you can't even get. It's almost, you don't even want to go for an edge, because it's really just a big old, the whole thing is going to not lead you anywhere. It's a rabbit's hole.
Mm-hmm.
The singing, the dancing, they're conjuring something. They have a point.
Oh yeah.
Who are they? What do they believe? There's no way out of that.
Right, and I mean that's another thing that other people, I talk about this in life, and I go around and around about my fiance and other family members. It's like, you know, all you see is all this evil stuff, and it's like, look, if you don't believe it, that's fine, but they do, and they're the ones in power of this world we're stuck in right now. So I mean, whether you believe it or not, they're using it, and they seem to be in control with it. So the power goes somewhere, and the energy goes somewhere, and it definitely gives them some kind of control.
Some sort of victory. They're winning at something. You know.
In this world, yes,
They don't
and
wanna
they can
stop
have
winning.
this world. They can have it.
But you know, those arguments that there's no way out. There's really no way you're
Looks like we're
gonna get
losing you on the.
anybody out logically.
Yeah, I was afraid everybody's having trouble.
Well, Hack's still here. That was Mike that dropped.
I know. Oh, I thought that was. I heard the drop sound. I thought that was Hacksaw. Okay. But I can't hear him anymore. Can you hear him?
No.
Well, this
Oh,
may
yeah,
be a
I'm
good
here.
time to wrap up the show, unfortunately.
Which was
Hack, thanks a lot for being here. Man, you just don't know. It's been a great night. I've been just sitting here reveling in all this. It's been amazing. Just amazing. So thank you again. Now, Josh, you can wrap this up however you see fit. But again, everybody who was here earlier, Mike and Armor, and Michael.
Michael's good at being Mike.
Yeah, we appreciate it, as always. Wow, this all went just a ride, didn't
Just went sideways. Yeah. All right. No, it has been fun. So thank you again, Walt. It's been great. Just another great hangout. And Hack, anytime you want to come back, and please, I would just love to sit here and listen for another 4 hours. That would be great.
You guys hear me?
We can again. We didn't. It kind of was messing up. But you're back.
I can't see him. Yeah, I only see a few people left. Probably time to wrap up, huh? 4 hours more. For sure.
Excellent. Yeah, anytime.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Great.
All right.